everybody. Rick Minshall, Cincinnati Throwing Club. Got a special edition of Roundtable tonight. We're going to talk to 4 pitchers that have had a very successful career already, members of the Throwing Club. We get a lot of questions on a really daily basis, whether they're text in or DMs, about recruiting process, what it's like to get to the next level, what the commitment process is. We want to cover that ground with guys that are pitching at an elite level now. We have with us tonight, we have Noah Reisenfeld, Chattanooga State, TJ Brock from Ohio State, Will McLean from Bowling Green, and Kurt Lang from Northern Kentucky University. We're going to bring some questions to these guys, so thanks again for tuning in. We're going to get the questions started. Look forward to your responses. First question that gets asked to us a lot is about the recruiting process, and we don't want to necessarily go into how you get recruited, what takes so long, etc., and what you should be doing. But I do want each one of these guys to talk a little bit about what some of the main points of them getting recruited were, some of the things maybe they wish they had known afterwards, questions they should have asked, kind of give you a little bit of some experience from some guys who've been there. So we'll start right over here with Noah.
Yeah, so basically just going through the recruiting process, it kind of started my sophomore year. Really got to kind of understand how everything works first. Understood like how scholarships are given, how you get in contact with a coach if you want to market yourself. And so I kind of started to really get into how to do all that. And so I created some pages or whatever, free. Just it's basically free exposure. I went to a smaller school, so it was easier for me to send emails to coaches and kind of get myself on the radar before going to an event or something. So I thought one of the biggest things for me was definitely marketing myself early on before really started getting the depths of recruiting.
That's awesome. What about you?
For myself, I think it was not having overexposure. There's a thing where you go to camps and tryouts and stuff like that, but are you really ready for it though? Yeah, it's great, you want to go and you want to get the offer, you want to go to school and get seen, but are you really ready? So I was a guy that, I trained hard, worked hard every day, I loved the process, and when I knew I was ready, my dad was like, all right, now it's time to go to the camps or whatever it may be that you want to go, whether it's Perfect Game, PBR, or whatever it is. I was ready for it. I wasn't underdeveloped or anything like that. I came out, showed everybody what I had, and that's how I went about it.
One of the things that we talk to a lot of our parents and even our players that ask us these questions, they sign up for a lot of showcases, but something I take from Randy Sullivan down to Florida Baseball Ranch, we talk about this all the time. Don't showcase something until you're ready to showcase. If you're a junior and you're throwing 70 miles an hour, there's really no reason to showcase anything. There's nothing there. Work hard and get ready to do just what you did. Right. Be ready to showcase so you can hit the circuit and have something to wow some of the scouts. Like, oh, wow, I need to go talk to this guy. Because I can tell you, a lot of these events you guys have been to, there's hundreds of kids there, and there's a lot of kids that they're the same. There's a ton of guys that are the same height, the same weight. They throw 70 to 75, 78 miles an hour. It's not very interesting to a school, especially if you're expecting scholarship money. But if you wait and train and spend that money on training to get ready, there is a time and place to go showcase.
Right, exactly. And that's when you come out and they're like, I came out my sophomore year, trained real hard, and then when I was like, all right, it's time to go. Okay, came out, Perfect Game, I was throwing 88 miles an hour as a sophomore. Like, I didn't go and do it. Like, prior to the training, I was throwing 83, but trained, got ready for it, 88. 88 is way better than 83, 84. So.
Will, you had an interesting experience too.
We did, yeah.
Coming out of Mason High School, right?
Yeah. My experience was, I went to Mason High School, didn't play this my junior year, so I didn't have a ton of exposure early. So a big thing for me was to be able to put myself on Twitter, use the free resources, and get your name out there. Get whatever free exposure you can get. And Twitter nowadays is a great tool. I think it's one of the best. Put a video clip, a couple video clips. Flyground apps,
amazing.
Rob Friedman, I love what he's doing. But really use that to your advantage. Get exposed. Put yourself out there. Don't be afraid to contact the coach. Send emails. When they get interested, video. Yeah, send video. Do whatever you can. And do whatever you can just to get exposed. That's the biggest thing for me.
Well, another thing I think that we miss sometimes is contact schools that have your major that you're interested in, so that you don't, if you go there and you're not wasting credits. I mean, time is so valuable in college. You guys know that, and credits they add up. You do not want to end up having to transfer to school, or if you go to whatever the case may be, whatever your goals are. If you go to a school and they don't exactly transfer somewhere else, you've wasted time and money with your credit hours. You really want to have an idea. Yes, you may change your major. That's absolutely in the realm of possibility. The statistics say that you're going to, but at least look at the number of programs saying, if I'm not interested in sports marketing, for example, or sports management, school doesn't have, my backup plan is business management, or I may want to go into a whole other field. Make sure that that school may have those options for you. You're not just going there to play baseball.
Yeah, to branch off that real quick, I also started to learn later in the recruiting process that later than I would have hoped that if you're going to look at a school, you want to look at it as, can I see myself as a student here, not a baseball player, a student, because I got in a situation my freshman year where I just kind of focused on baseball and other aspects instead of just saying, can I see myself as a person that goes to school here, but somehow baseball doesn't work out or whatever.
Great advice.
And so I really, I think that's a big time thing when it comes to going on visits and stuff like that.
And that really should be your first priority is academics to begin with.
Absolutely.
If you can't make the academics, you'll never see the field.
Absolutely.
So Kurt, you've had an interesting experience too. You were heavily recruited out of high school, ended up going to a school, ended up going,
Yeah, transferred a couple times.
transferred a couple times already. So talk about that.
No, it was just be comfortable. Go to the school you want to go to, and not just go to some place because other people want you to go there. So if you're not happy at a place and you're just doing it to please other people, then it's not good for you. It's not good for them. It's just not a good situation. Not saying that's a bad institution or anything. Other people can be happy there.
How long did it take for you to be miserable your freshman year?
But it didn't take long. I think I texted you real quick saying
Help.
that this isn't a fit for me. Can you help? And you were like, well, we can, but
There's a process to it.
Yeah.
It's kind of ugly, to be honest with you. 'Cause
Yeah.
You're locked in. You've made a commitment. You really need to honor that. I mean, there are some schools that are like, hey, we get it, we understand it. Others are like, they don't have to. I mean, and I get that. They've made a commitment to you, to your program. So
it's a lot better off just going somewhere where you want to go to, and you can play, you can develop. And if you're not good enough to play at the school that you really want to go somewhere where you can develop and later transfer. So go to a JUCO or someplace that you can go develop and then go to the school that you really want to go to. Even though I'm not a JUCO guy, but I really like the whole concept of the JUCO.
absolutely, we got a
Yeah.
JUCO guy here. That's what we have. We have pretty much every. You started out D3, and now you're D1. You started out at a D1 that changed coaches, and you had an unfortunate experience where they let you go, and you had to go find a school, sit out, and
It wasn't fun.
it wasn't fun, right?
It's not fun.
You're at the same place you started,
Yeah.
right? But that also is an experience, and now you've gone the route, right?
Yeah.
That's why we're talking about this, because there's so many ways to get there, but there's a lot of learning experiences during that process, and that's why we're asking these questions, because I think everybody up here may have done something a little differently in their process if they had known, but there's no way to know. You could look back and, obviously Monday morning quarterback that, but for all the people that follow us and talk to us, this might shed some light on it.
Absolutely.
So now we want to talk a little bit about the grind. Pitching really at the next level from when you go from high school into college and college into pros, it truly is a grind. People are like, well, what does that mean? So we're going to have to tell you. I mean, it's not easy. Pitching at the next level to get better and get developed, it means commitment. Our guys that are in here almost daily throw all the time, but they're always working on something. There's the weight aspect, nutrition aspect, etc. And I'm going to let these guys kind of just talk about that a little bit. Whoever wants to go, just talk about how difficult this really is and what you need to be looking forward to as an athlete.
Cool, okay. The grind. All right. So for me, I wasn't really growing. I didn't grow up as a naturally gifted power arm, a guy that can throw hard. For me, it was something I had to develop, whether that be in the gym, on the mound, working with Minshaw, doing mobility, eating, sleeping, all these things add together to make yourself the pitcher you are. And for me, it's just been, I don't know where to go with that.
I mean, well, your commitment is exceptional. I think everybody that works with you knows that this is you live, breathe, you are this. That's how I feel about it.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I mean, for me, it took some time to understand what it's seriously like to put in work. I mean, there was, we played together our senior year, and there was times where during the off season, I'd do something like twice a week, 3 times a week. Like, I'm getting my work in. That wasn't really lifting. It really, if you want something serious out of it, if you're really determined to, graduate from college playing 4 years of baseball or move on to play pro ball, whether it's in the minors, get drafted, or indie ball, whatever it is, you're absolutely going to need to put in 6 to 7 days a week, whether it's physical or mental. I spend a lot of time really researching and understanding what I'm doing, which helps me get better in the process.
Absolutely.
One thing I want to add on to that is it's not just a grind by throwing every day of the week. It's really what you do every day. You can't just show up, throw 20 throws, call it a day, do a little running or something. We show up here at 5:30, and we're not leaving until about 9 every day.
Yeah.
It's here, it's getting warmed up, doing mobility, stretching, play a little basketball to get blood flowing. But then it's also the warm-up, the recovery, the sitting down and talking through what we just did that day.
It's a process.
Absolutely. So it's really getting the most out of every day, not just throwing every day.
We talk a lot about this with our guys here. We've talked about this in pro ball, being in short season when I had all the draft picks that come in, and we also had a lot of our international signings that had never had experience in professional baseball. So we had guys come from big colleges, small colleges, high school, international, just getting a routine. And having a routine is probably the secret sauce to having success. Knowing that your routine can change. And if you constantly listen to yourself and you are working hard every day, you know that, okay, I tried this last week and I felt a little dead. And my legs were tired. I got to the 4th inning. I ran out of gas quick. I'm going to change this about my routine. And working with your strength coach, talking to your pitching coach. Okay, and then the next time you go out, I'm 7 strong. I felt good. All right, so let's go with that. But the routine is really important. But we talked about, like you said, that the grind is so much more than that. It's an actual commitment to time, energy, research, the mental part of this.
I'd say probably 70% of the day, obviously, when I'm awake, just thinking about baseball.
Right.
I mean, it's what's on my mind. What can I do to get better? What am I going to do this afternoon to get better?
Right.
What workouts can I do to get better right now? Therefore, puts me in a position to be kind of loose tonight when I go to throw. Just really thinking ahead and putting myself in the best position to really go out and get better every day and then put all that together.
I just know from having you guys for some time now that the commitment to the gym has been absolutely incredible. I mean, getting those legs underneath you, being able to build your core, being able to get that torso ready to fire, putting some shoulders on you, maximizing your athletic ability. I mean, all you guys are athletic. You couldn't do what you do here. I mean, we're everywhere from 91 to 100 in this circle, and it's not by accident. I mean, that didn't happen. I know that because I'm here every day, but for the benefit of everybody that's watching, it's not an accident. This is a ton of work in the weight room, the commitment to it, you're doing it the days that you don't want to do it. We can talk through that a little bit.
It's important. Like, there are days you're not going to feel good, you're not going to want to feel good, you're not going to want to throw, and you've got to find a way to. It has to be more than a hobby,
Right.
for you to be good. Because if it's a hobby and you want to do it and you feel good,
Then go to a hobby school.
You only feel
Right. Go to a hobby school so that you'll be okay with your expectations.
No, but like, it's got to be more than a hobby. You've got to be committed to do stuff when you don't want to do it, because when you do want to do it, you're going to be that much better.
Right.
When you're actually pitching in a game, when you want to be out there, you want to be playing, you're going to realize, when I woke up at 6 to go to those morning lifts, when I would rather be in bed and I'd rather be sleeping, that's going to make you better.
One more piece to that is when you're at school, there's a lot of demand on your time to get better. I mean, granted, they'd only have a short window to work with you, but it doesn't probably feel like that because you are essentially playing your sport full-time while going to school full-time, and that is an overdrive. So talk about that a little bit. What are the expectations at Ohio State?
The expectations at Ohio State, 100%. Anything you do, you have to do 100%. And, we're always talking about baseball, but like for us, we have study tables. I'm one of the guys, as a freshman, we all freshmen, no matter what school you go to, you've got study tables, mandatory study tables. If you don't take care of your stuff in the classroom, you can't even show up to the field. I mean, that's just,
It's fair.
we'll just put it
Right.
at that. You got to make the grades, you got to make the study tables, and you got to show up to class too. Like kids will do that thing, oh, I can skip class this day, oh, I can skip class that day. Like no, they have class checkers. You really got to go, and it's better for you. It makes you more disciplined. And then when you go to the ball field, there isn't a time where, you hear the stigma, pitchers don't do anything, they throw and hang around. Like no, at Ohio State, we're doing balance, variability training, mobilization. There's so many different types of things that we're doing at Ohio State, and to be honest, that's why we led the country in strikeouts, is because we're always doing something.
You're
We're
training
not
to
just sitting there.
you're training to go get it, right?
I'm just saying,
What a
like,
flex right there.
I'm just saying, like,
Hey, it's all
there's a
right.
reason we led the country in strikeouts. It's not just, we had the same pitching staff, and then next year came over, and we did more, and we led the country in strikeouts. There's a reason for that.
Right. Sure.
You gotta grind.
So outside of that, I want to talk a little bit about what's helping you. We get a lot of questions. Obviously, we use weighted balls here. We use a lot of driveline pieces. Driveline certified. Been knowing those guys for a long time, and we really subscribe. Now, not all of our guys use weighted balls, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. But the guys that do, that are bought in, that are part of that, you've been to driveline to work out. You've been to PRP and done that as well. You guys have used all of our stuff here. You're totally bought in, and I think that's a part of your routines and how you get better. But I want to ask you guys a little bit about what about those tools, the weighted balls, the Rapsoda, the different technology pieces that we're using on a regular basis is making you better.
For me, I'm just gonna say it straight up. There's a lot of these places that will come and take your money, and they'll do that, and they'll high risk, high reward. They're okay with trying new stuff with a new kid. Me personally, I'm really big into family and loyalty, and when I came to the throwing club and I came to Eric, I knew right away that all right, I'm gonna get taken care of. I'm a guy that I believe in my own self. I believe in my program, and I sat down with Eric and I showed him my program, and he said, "That's a good program. That's about what we do, and I like it. Try this. I liked it, so I add that part of my program." That's the difference between here and other places. I've been to other places. A lot of those guys just say they're certified. They're not. I'm just saying straight up, they're not. Like you can tell, but coming here, a lot of people you don't know about spin axis. All right, for me, I gained 4 miles an hour off spin axis of my spin axis was at 130, quote unquote, like a dead zone for me. My ball wasn't moving that much. I was on the side of the ball, and I was throwing 96 on the side of the ball. Okay, Eric fixed me. I get up to 1250, 110, anywhere around there. I was sitting 96, 98, throwing 100, 102. Like,
Happens.
it happens. Most places are going to be content with you throwing 96. No, he wasn't content. He got me to my full potential.
I think it's big too, not having like a cookie cutter. Like every guy
Right.
is so much
Yes.
different.
All of us
So,
are
like,
so different. All
yeah,
of us
ab-
are
absolutely.
Every day.
all
we do
so different.
things.
We do different things every day.
So different.
Every day.
Absolutely.
So you can't go to a place that treats every guy like, oh, you're gonna do the same
Right.
pitching. Like no, because you can't do that because everybody moves different, you throw different. So you got to find what works for you, listen to your body, but also like try new things. Be willing to have an open mind about trying new things to develop and get better.
I think that's important, kind of back to the recruiting thing and, making a decision for a school. Find a place that's going to allow you to be yourself. At the same time, I had a lot of meetings with coaches and a lot of discussions where it was, we are going to do this and you will be a part of this system and you will learn how we do things. And yeah, there's certain routines, certain organizations go through and everything, but when it comes down to throwing, mechanical work, drill work, all that kind of stuff, there's different ways for different guys. I know I learned differently than him, he learns
Absolutely.
differently than him, and
Everybody here receives information differently, but all of our angles are the same.
Exactly.
And that's why it's good to go to the places that are certified in all different types of
Right,
things,
right.
not just one thing. If you go to a guy that's certified in 5 different things, you now have 5 different ways to learn one thing. That's
Right.
like,
Yeah.
I'm just saying, that's
Yeah.
how it
Everybody's
is.
different.
Everybody's
Everybody's
different.
That's one of the biggest things. Is find what works for you.
Right.
Right.
Whether that be like a recovery that makes your arm feel good, whether that be drills you do before you throw,
Right.
that make you throw harder. It's finding what works for you, your body, and makes you pitch to the best of your ability.
100%. And that's what it's all about at the end of the day. I mean, I always tell guys all the time, I can't go to the mountain with you.
Right.
So if you're relying on me to do that, I haven't done a good job for you. I mean, it'd be kind of cool if I could, but we can't do that. So we'll take another break here real quick.
I got
and,
one more thing too.
Okay, well, hold on.
One more thing.
Hold on.
One more thing.
Okay.
So,
All right.
my favorite thing about the throwing club is the fact that I can come in here and I can learn and not just be told what to do.
Sure.
That's one of the best things about this place is because we can bounce ideas off each other. I can bounce an idea off of you and say like, hey, what do you think about this? I think it'll help me do this on the mound. And I think that's one of the biggest things, being able to constantly learn and make yourself more knowledgeable and prepared to go to the mound.
Right.
Conversation.
And to
It's
go,
a conversation,
and to go
yeah.
off that, there's no egos here. I know this little kid, 13 years old, Alex Mitchell, I don't care, 13 years old, and that's one of my other pitching coaches. His lower half is perfect. So, and I was not getting into my lower half how I
Right.
wanted to. Get into my lower half. I don't care. He's 13. He knows how to do it. Like there's
Yeah,
no
he
ego.
knew how to do it,
I'm
yeah.
20. Like he's 13. Who cares? That it doesn't mean
Yeah,
anything.
absolutely.
He knows what to do. Ask him.
I think it's very crucial. When I started coming here, one of the things that really stuck out to me was the environment created.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just really easy to. I can come here and be for hours and not want to leave. Like I. Enjoy
Well, I don't
it.
want you to.
Right.
I mean, we have a great time. I mean,
Right.
we have the best time.
We literally, I come here all the time. I enjoy coming. I look forward to, calling Eric and telling him, hey, I'm coming tonight, or hey, I'm coming this week and these days, because I've seen so much results inside and outside of here
Yeah.
that it's just, you get obsessed with, you want more and more and
Right,
more. And
right,
then there
right.
comes, the maturity level of, okay, now let's take it to another level. Let's work even harder. Let's learn even more.
We've been in the last few weeks, we've kind of had some fun with that. We've had 3 pro scouts in here. We've had, a couple pro days. I mean, it's just been fun to showcase what you've been working on. And, they make the same comments. Well, this is a really cool environment. Yeah, because we're not here to, it's a conversation. Like you said, it's how do we make you better? And sometimes what I love is when you guys teach each other. And I can step away and make that totally organic. And if you watch me, I step away.
Yeah.
Because you don't need me to step over that conversation. It's your conversation. You learn from each other. I've learned a ton from pitchers over the years. I've learned a lot of stuff from the pro guys all the time. They ask me these questions, and I'm like, I give them answers, and they tell me some things they were working on, throwing in the outfield with somebody. Hey, I learned a new grip. I learned how to throw a cutter this way. This guy's a sinker. And you guys were doing that, I think, yesterday and the day before, teaching each other pitches and slider. And here's how I throw the slider. And this came from, and yeah, we did it today. How's this changeup come out? That's the best learning environment there is in baseball.
Yeah.
To be able to do that together with no ego, like you said, which is amazing. I love that environment. We don't allow that in here. It's how you learn. It's how you get better fast. Last piece we want to talk about is technology, which is so prevalent in the industry now. It's used pretty much at every school that we work with. And if the schools don't have it, they're finding a way to get it. They're getting their guys to a place that has some tech, whether it be Rapsodo. We use Rapsodo, PitchLogic. We have slow-mo here. I mean, we have cameras. We got everything that you can think of, and more stuff coming actually. So, but that doesn't negate the actual coaching piece. We do a lot of coaching between the years that has nothing to do with the data. But I just want, from your guys' perspective, what's helping you technology-wise? What's hurting you technology-wise? And how is social media kind of playing into that? Because everybody's got a different opinion, and then this. I know how I handle it, but I don't have to pitch and perform. It's a lot easier for me to just coach now and develop these relationships with you guys and encourage you and show you. But you guys are under a lot more pressure than I am.
Right.
So just whoever wants to start with that, let's talk about that a little bit.
I'll start, yeah. So starting off with social media, I think, a lot of people undermine the importance of it. Whether it's a coach that's going to look at how you express yourself out on social media, whether it's how you are going to market yourself through social media, learning how to do it, certain tricks, and certain things that get you more exposure. you know, it's crazy. A lot of that stuff is seen on Twitter. A lot of guys do get exposure on Twitter. And so I think it is very important to understand how social media works in the baseball world. And, you know, a big thing for me has been, you know, don't put stuff out that is opinion-based in the sense of politics, stuff like that, because it's not that you shouldn't express, you know, your opinion and all that stuff on certain aspects, but you could run across a coach that, obviously, I don't think coaches look at a kid and go, what does he think about politics? What does he think about that? But you run across a coach that is at a school you really want to go to, and they don't agree with a certain view, that could end up, even with you not even doing anything wrong necessarily,
Sure.
that could persuade a guy to be like, that's
Yeah,
just
the
not my kind of
human
thing."
element takes
Right,
over.
Absolutely. So I think it's very important to keep your social media to, you know,
Professional.
professional. Yeah,
Professional.
that's-
It can help you just as much as it can hurt you.
Absolutely.
Keep it on there as like I mean, for me, for myself, I keep my social media clean. Anything you see on there, it's me smiling with my friends or family, or it's baseball. You know, it's a clean social media. You never find anything vulgar or anything like that. And that's honestly how you can separate yourself. If you want to get in the recruiting talk, that's how you can separate yourself from another kid. Is if my social media is clean and another kid's is not clean, they're going to choose me over him because
That's how you present yourself to everybody else.
it's very professional.
Sure.
You got to be respectful at all times.
Right.
That's a huge thing with coaches, especially nowadays. Like some kids like just rude, ignorant. Like no,
Yeah.
Yeah.
be respectful like at all times, not just on social media, like in person too. Like, and everyone deserves respect. It's just not like the people that like have like a coach who deserves respect, but like the back way or like the manager. Like no, be
Not
respectful
student
to everybody.
managers,
They
everybody.
grind.
Everybody's part of the team.
Student man, everybody.
Everybody.
That's why you got the field.
You guys killed it.
Okay. Well, good.
I got
I
nothing.
think
Let's talk
that,
about some technology pieces.
yeah.
So what's kind of helping? What's hurting? What's helped your development? What don't you pay attention to?
So
I don't pay attention to other people. Honestly, I'll just be honest. I do not pay attention to other people. You have to know that who you are as a person. You gotta look at yourself in the mirror and know that, hey, I trust this dude. For me, I trust my team, my coaches, Eric Minshaw, Josh Elman at Elite Strength and Conditioning. Like, I trust them. And I'm not saying I don't trust other people, but those are the main people that I focus on with my pitching.
Sure.
And I focus with Eric because he knows what I'm trying to get done. And I'm not saying I listen to the boys. Of course I do. But at the end of the day, I know, him and I both know what my deficiencies are or like my proficiencies, like whatever they are. I pick and choose.
Sure.
Can't get caught up in Twitter.
Yeah, you can't chase every tweet. Well, should I be doing this? Should I be doing that?
Right.
You have to again know. If you know yourself, you'll know whether you can do that or not. Does my body even get into that?
maybe I can try
Right.
that.
Maybe I can try.
Trial
Maybe I
and error.
just.
Right, like I'm not gonna throw like Aroldis Chapman, so I'm not gonna go and look at what Aroldis Chapman doesn't throw. Like I'm not
Yeah.
Aroldis Chapman, I'm TJ Brock, so I'm gonna look for a pitcher that throws a sinker about the same height, same weight. Okay, this guy, all right, I'm gonna go see what works for him.
Right.
You
Absolutely.
gotta know your body. Know
What's your
yourself.
pitcher profile?
Right, you gotta be true to yourself. At the end of the day, if you want to be your best person, best player, you gotta be true to yourself.
And speaking on the technology aspect, I think you know what's helped me is I've been on the Rapsodo. You know where I go to school, Chattanooga State. Even at junior college now, we have a Rapsodo. We have Synergy during games, so it's allowed us to you know really focus on the developmental part of you know. Okay, this is what I did in a full intent situation.
Right.
And now let's see what went wrong and what we can do with the information we have to fix it.
And what went right?
Right, and what went right, of course. And, you know, not trying to overcorrect, but at the same time understanding how it's going to help you. And I think one of the biggest things for me, and I'm very big on it whenever is for summer ball, who's ever at my game, you know, during the season we have cameras on us, so we don't have to,
Right.
we're not passing a video report, but I'm always big on video of myself because when I'm able to go and do something and then mentally watch it and mentally, you know, go through the reps and see, okay, I did this right. I want to focus on, you know, taking this aspect and making it a little better, and then putting that all together, I think video is one of the most crucial tools that we've really adapted to baseball culture.
Absolutely. Good modeling.
Yeah, great.
Helps you really understand what's truly going on with your body.
It's my biggest tool.
Yeah.
Technology is also one of the things that it won't lie to you. Like, it doesn't care about your feelings. It doesn't
Yeah.
care. Like,
Yeah.
you think you're doing this, but in slow-mo video, you're not doing that.
No.
Well, you're not doing it, so this is what you are doing. This is what you got to do to fix it. It doesn't matter what you think. Also, technology really helps when you're like trying something new and like seeing how that changes the numbers, whether that be velocity or spin rate or movement,
Yeah.
and just how like play around with it and get readings and results, and it can affect how you change and what you do.
Gives you test, retest ability
Yeah.
pretty quickly. And how was it last week? How do I feel better with it? Like you said, am I actually doing the things that I think that I'm doing? I mean, we did that with the slider. Changed grip, got a whole different set of readings. I like that better. It worked better. But it actually gave you the pitch profile that this is truly a good slider.
Yeah.
This is something I can use in a game.
And when you get like the ability to have video, like the machine Rapsodo, and another aspect of a great pitching coach or guys around you, all that together really helps. I wouldn't say speed up the process of getting better,
Yeah.
but it definitely helps further your tools and your ability to, withhold all the information you need to start applying things to get in that direction.
We've spent a lot of time with technology this year, this off season, whatever it may be, whatever you want to, whatever quarantine, whatever you want to say. I mean, we were very fortunately, we did not have to stop this year. We had social distancing. We took a lot of great measures in here.
Right.
We couldn't have a lot of guys in here at one time, but we were able to still continue to throw, but explore and spend a lot more time designing your pitches. And you already have the body going for you. We had to make some adjustments there, but those were minuscule compared to what we did technology-wise.
Absolutely. I think the biggest thing for me this quarantine session, whatever you want to call it, has been using video to make these tiny little tweaks that made big jumps in my delivery, my
Right.
velocity, and everything you want. But I think there's a very fine line between using, I'm all for using technology,
Right.
but don't fall in love with one thing.
Correct.
So like a big problem I had was I would look at video and I would only look at one part of my delivery. Make sure you're looking at everything. Make sure you're looking at foot plan, where your arm is, is your arm up on time, you have scap retraction. Don't fall in love with just one aspect of your delivery.
No, I totally agree with you. And I going back to college, the pro ball, and having the throwing academy, I get guys, they get in here, they're very focused on just the spin rate or just this. And I said, well, when you make changes with your body, all these other things are going to change too. It's very harmonious. So if you make a change in your delivery and all of a sudden your velo jumps, but your spin jumps, your axis jumps, your this, all these other things start changing. So you can't focus on what you were looking at before because it doesn't matter anymore. What's your release height? What's your release angle? Are you getting, what type of gyro are you getting on the ball? These things all play into your new delivery, and you have to understand them quickly. So that's a really great point.
I think it's also important to understand where you're at in your development process, because I think sometimes people try to get too ahead of themselves. I personally know I have in the past, to where, okay, I'm not at a point, speaking, let's say a couple years ago, I wasn't at a point to really understand how to use the information on Rapsodo.
Sure.
And so using it is doing nothing but confusing you at that point. So I think it's very important to understand if you're a guy that's coming out of high school as a senior, you're going into your freshman year of college, you're a D2 guy, you're in the mix, but that's what I was. I mean, I threw
Right.
harder than most D2 guys at the school I was at.
Right.
But I still found myself getting into things that made it way harder than it needed to be. And so I think it's important understanding, kind of humbling yourself to an extent of, okay, I need to focus on this right now. And then when I have the ability to do all these things and get better, then applying the technology and using
Right.
the extra resources that go into so much depth as to how it
I think it's huge to take a Rapsodo and take the information you get from it. It's very complex. You want to simplify it as much as possible.
Right.
You want to take all the information over, whether it be slow motion camera work, Rapsodo.
Right.
You want to take all that, simplify it, give yourself a single cue, a for something to work on,
Yes.
and then go from there, and then reevaluate.
Yeah,
That's all.
absolutely.
I think with that-
retest, reevaluate.
Yeah.
With that, it comes with, like I said before, the person that's training you. They have to understand every single thing. They have to be certified in it. You know, we all know what velo is. We all know how to read that.
Yeah.
And for the most part, we all know how to read spin rate. But do we all know how to read gyro? I don't. Do we know how to read spin axis? I do, because that's what I've been really working on.
Right.
Not all of us
Right.
do. You got to know who your trainer is, and if your trainer's got to know how to do
Yeah.
all
And
the
Are you,
different
the
are you,
things.
trainers
are you
gotta
pitch
know, too.
shaping? Are you pitch pairing?
Right,
There's
right.
a lot more
There's
stuff
a lot-
to
there's
it.
a lot
We have a
more.
lot of guys that come in that have quite an arsenal. They don't know how to use it.
Right.
They throw the wrong pitches, the wrong counts, and the wrong locations all the time.
Right.
And it's like, oh, how can somebody throw 93 to 95 to get their butt handed to them? Well, they're 95 as straight as an arrow,
Right.
right? Their changeup's very mediocre, and they have a good slurp, but they don't ever know when to keep somebody off balance. You know, they just want to shove a four seam in there in the middle of the plate. Oh, I got news for you. Your day's going to be pretty short.
Right.
You know, if we see that, I can't tell you how many times I saw in pro ball. We got guys that they don't control the mental part of the game. They get a little nervous, and then all of a sudden, 95 straight, it's like 88 straight, and it gets hit out very fast.
Yeah.
I mean, you start seeing that. You throw 95 down the middle, it gets hit out by a three-hole area. I
Right.
promise you, that's 105 plus off the bat.
And that's something.
And it's
that-
embarrassing.
Right. And that's
Yeah.
something I think that's very also, really important to understand is it's kind of a different topic, but if you're a guy that's in high school, for example, our senior year, you threw really hard
Mhm.
for a senior in high school, definitely in the top percentile, whatever. And you have to understand that if you're a guy like that, and you're sophomore, junior, and you're throwing 88, 90 as in that age, that's impressive and everything. But sooner or later, you're going to get where you want to go. Let's say you're going to Louisville as a sophomore and you're throwing 88 miles an hour. But when you get to Louisville, if you have done nothing, which we see, I feel like happens all the
Right.
time. Kids get recruited as sophomores.
Which
They
we
commit.
have Caden Campbell here, who
Right.
just committed to Louisville, left-hander,
Yeah.
throws 91
Right.
miles an hour, 15 years old.
Right.
And we said, you're just now beginning.
Right.
This is
And now it's time to understand,
Right.
okay, now I really have to put in the work. That way when I get to Louisville, I am separated from the people there.
Yeah.
Because they're
I'd
all
like for
the
him to
same
pitch as a freshman,
Right.
actually, right?
Right.
You know,
They're all the same as
Have some
me.
polish to you.
Right.
Yeah, right.
And so I think it's very important to understand, just because you're at a certain level at a certain point does not mean that you stop working. It means you really need to work harder there.
Absolutely.
You can never get complacent with what you do, because you got to remember, say you're the best high school kid in the area, but wherever you go, you're also going to probably be playing
The best high school kids.
high school kids in the area,
Right.
all on one
It
team.
all ends up adding up and
Yeah.
coming together. And
Yeah.
you're going to be surrounded by people who are just as good as you, if not better.
100%.
And that's what you want, though. You want to
Right.
surround yourself with kids that are at your level or better than your level, so you have something to work towards.
Right.
Hence why we're all here.
Yeah.
Right. Grinding it out every day.
Right.
Yeah. Ups and downs. It's not always just roses all the time. I mean, there's some
Oh.
tough days in here.
I mean, I was thinking about that earlier when someone said something that there's been days where I go home, during the season and it's quick thought, but it's like, why am I doing this? And
Sure.
then it's like,
Sure, yeah.
I had a terrible day today, like,
Mhm.
this sucks. Like, I don't like doing this. You go to bed, you totally forget about it.
Right.
And I think it's really important to understand, you can't be so hard on yourself just because you do, below average for a day.
Right.
And you can't be high on yourself when you have a good day. I think it's important to stay middle line. I think it's a big part of the gym.
Never get too high, never get too low.
Yeah, the measure of success, it goes like this.
Right.
It doesn't just happen that way.
Right.
There's highs, there's lows, but over time, like you guys are talking about,
Right.
it takes time. You will get there.
Exactly.
Just stay true to your process, stay true to yourself.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, thank you for joining us. We appreciate your time. If you have any questions or any follow-ups, please hit us up. We'll have this on our, a little bit of this on our Twitter, but we'll certainly have this on our YouTube channel. Please leave our comments below at any time. We'll have this on my personal Twitter image, but we'll also have this on Cincinnati Throw Club, and obviously our YouTube channel, which you're watching on now, Cincinnati Throwing Club. I look forward to doing more of these for you in the future. I want to thank all these guys today. Really appreciate their time and their insight. We hope this was helpful for you. Again, any questions, please put them below, or you can direct message us. That's fine. If you have any messages for these guys, you can find them on Twitter as well.
Reisenfeld, N-O, Reisenfeld, N-O.
TJ Brock 3, all social media.
I think it's Will _ McLean _, but I could be way off.
Pretty sure.
I am Kirkland.
There you go.
You better
Very good.
tag.
Very good. I'll have to tag these guys there for you.
Yeah.
But thanks again. We appreciate all of your time. Let us know if you have any questions. Till we see you again next time. This is Eric with Cincinnati Throwing Club, and thanks to these guys.